So week 3 of the NFL season is coming to the close, and for the Chicago Bears, they finished week 3 with a very embarrassing loss to the Cleveland Browns. In this video, I'm going to give y'all my recap, what I saw in the game yesterday, and I'm going to give grades at the end of the video. Real quick pointer, these grades are not going to be pretty. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video. Talking about the Chicago Bears and their very embarrassing and probably unacceptable loss to the Cleveland Browns yesterday. So, let's get started. Now, first, it's time to grade the offense. Ooh, boy. That offense. I'm going to just run down some stats before I get into talking in depth about it, because there's a lot to talk about with this. But just to give y'all a pointer on how the Bears offense played yesterday, they had 47, and I repeat, 47 total yards, 46 rushing yards, literally one passing yard, and the yardage per play was 1.1 yards per play. They only had 6 first downs compared to the Browns' 26. They converted only 1 third down out of 11 tries to the Browns' 8. They only went for it 1 time on 4th down, which I'm going to get to in a minute. And they allowed 9 sacks and punted 7 times. Okay, where do I start? Offense was less than ideal, if not unacceptable. To win games, you have to score more than 6 points. Bottom line, period. And it is unacceptable to see that the Bears offense, with all this talent and all these players, for them to only muster 47 yards total offense and 1 passing yard the entire game. Not to mention, the Bears offense did none of the stuff I at least pointed out they should do to win that game. They did not run the ball. David Montgomery only had 10 attempts. He only got 32 yards out of that. Damian Williams didn't get a carry. Fields didn't even get out the pocket that much. They did not run the ball enough, and when they did run the ball, it was the same shotgun run over and over again. The Bears were not efficient on first down. They could get no yardage going on first down. Their passing game was all out of whack. I don't even know what was going on. And it's disappointing because they're better than this. The Bears offense is much better than how they played yesterday. Miles better than what they played yesterday. You cannot tell me that you have talents like Mooney, Robinson, Komet, Montgomery, Goodwin, Bird. You have all that talent on offense, let alone Justin Fields. All that talent on offense, and you can only muster 47 yards. They gave up 9 sacks, like I said earlier. Say what you want about the offensive line. It's not the best, but it is not that terrible. What we saw yesterday was bad. It was bad. 9 sacks is unacceptable. The offensive line could not block anybody. And I said during the video, my last video, to take the steam out of the Browns pass rush, you're going to have to run the ball. They did not do that. To take steam out of the Browns pass rush and defense, you're going to have to use your tight ends. They did not do that. You're going to have to run more than 5 yards down the field. They did not do that. So, as much as the offense played bad and the offensive line played pretty bad, I'm going to give the offense a grade of a D. And why I say a D, and you're probably wondering why I'm saying a D, is because play calling was very bad this game. You cannot tell me with a straight face that there were some plays on first, second, and third down that just left you in awe of how mind-boggling bad those plays were. So, for that grade, I'm going to give them a D. I felt like they were only playing to what the coach was calling, which I'm going to get to in a minute. So, offense, they get a D+. You score 6 points, you're not going to win many games when you score 6 points. And you give up 9 sacks, nobody's going to succeed when they get sacked 9 times. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball. Defense played, you know what, let's give it up for those guys. Defense played their hearts out yesterday. They held the Browns for basically 2 quarters. It was amazing how the Bears were down only 10 when they went to halftime. The number of times the defense was on the field is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling how they didn't give up more points in that span. The defense did what I said they should do. I said they should make Baker Mayfield beat them. Early in the game, they were getting to Mayfield a lot. By no means was Baker Mayfield as good as that team is. By no means was Baker Mayfield lighting it up yesterday. He got sacked 5 times. Robert Quinn has had a resurgence in his second year with the Bears. He looks like his 2019 self. He's getting pressure from all angles. He was on Baker Mayfield like glue. Khalil Mack had a good game. He had 2 sacks yesterday. If I can look at the numbers for Quinn, let me see. Look at the numbers for Robert Quinn. He had 2 sacks. He had 2 sacks yesterday. He was constantly getting pressure and pushing Baker Mayfield into like guys like Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks. That's what they brought Robert Quinn here to do, and now he's finally producing because he's getting that chance. One, he's healthy. Last year, people forgot the fact that he wasn't healthy. He didn't have a full training camp. Now he's healthy, and now he's putting up that production. Roquan Smith had another good day. He didn't get the turnovers that he had last week, but he still had 5 total tackles and 4 assisted tackles, so that's good. A notable absence from the secondary was Tayshaun Gibson, but I think Deion Bush stepped up to the plate and played very well. The Bears defense did not get the turnovers they would like, but when you hold a team for basically 3 quarters and your offense is putting up no points, it's harder to get takeaways that way. So, my defensive grade for yesterday's game is, I say, a solid B+. Defense plays their heart out. If you looked on my Twitter when I was tweeting out during the game, there should be no reason the defense is getting grilled for that game because they did everything they could. So, B+ for the defense. Look, this defense is stepped up from week 1. Sean Desai has called great games. He has responded to pressure, which I'm going to get to in a minute when I get to play calling. But defense, B+, played good up until like the end of the third quarter. They just couldn't do it no more. They got tired and they couldn't do it no more. Oh, honorable mention, they stopped the run early in the game too. I also said in the video, the prediction video, that to try to beat the Browns, they would have to stop the run. And I think they did a good job of that in like the first 2 quarters. They were stopping the run and they were tackling Nick Chubb early and Kareem Hunt. But as the game went on and on, they got tired and then the Browns just started running all over it. So, solid B+ for the defense. They played good. They played their hearts out. Good. Special teams, they get an A+. Really not too much to go on for special teams. They got a good punt. They got some good kick returns. Cairo Santos is a beast. Not going to stick on that too much. One thing I did notice during special teams was that I think his name is, I forget his name, but the punt returner muffed the punt. he recovered it, so I think the special teams gets an A+. And by the way, Cairo Santos was the only source of Bears points yesterday, so A+ for special teams. Now, the main theme of this video is play calling. Play calling was, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it was bad. It was really bad. Oof. Now, I'm not. If I had the level of a professional NFL coach, I'd be coaching. But at some point during the game, you're gonna have to realize, as the head coach and the play caller, that you can't keep running inside zone from the shotgun and expecting it to work every single play. You can't keep running 5-yard routes every single play and expecting it to work. You can't let your rookie prize quarterback sit back there and take a beating like that. The Bears' offensive play calling was so bad. There was a telling stat yesterday, and I'm reading it right here. The Bears only had 47 yards, like I said, and they only had 1 passing yard, and they only averaged 1.1 yards per play. That is the second fewest in the Super Bowl era this century. That's not a good record to have. And, at some point, it has to click in your mind that as the head coach and the play caller, that maybe I shouldn't let Justin stand back there and just take this beating like this. There were too many plays where it would be like 3rd down and 15. They get themselves in the 3rd and longs so easy. They put Fields in so many bad positions where he just didn't have no time to throw. He was getting the ball out in like 2 seconds flat because he had no time to throw. And part of the problem for that is that the play calling was so bad. Fields dropped back 32 times, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of those plays, at least from what I was watching, the Bears were running a scat protection scheme. Now, what does that mean? It basically means there's 5 guys up on the offensive line, and we're going to block these 4 guys on the Browns' defensive line. Single blocking them, mind you. You cannot single block Myles Garrett. You cannot single block Jadeveon Clowney. Part of that was the reason why the Bears only got 1 passing yard. They lost so many passing yards in general, on sacks. They lost 67 yards on sacks. So at some point, as the play caller and the head coach, it clicks in your mind like, maybe I should change up the scheme. Maybe I should use Justin's legs more. I forgot to say that during the offensive part. They did not use Justin Fields right at all. They were playing Justin Fields like he was Andy Dalton. All respect to Dalton. Dalton is cool. Dalton is solid. But Dalton is not Justin Fields. Justin Fields is not Andy Dalton. He has a completely different play set. The play calling, Nagy is, and all respect to Matt Nagy, he's a great guy. I would think he's a great husband and all that. But his play calling choices are bad. At some point, it has to tell you that Justin should not be standing back there every single play, just taking this horrendous beating. How about moving him out of the pocket? Get the pocket moving. You know you don't have the best offensive line. They're not terrible, but they're not the best. So why are you going 5 out, 5-man scat protection, and single blocking Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett almost broke a franchise. I think he did break a franchise record for sacks. Just why? There were so many chances to adjust that offense. This game was winnable. They did not use Justin's legs, like I said. There was no play action plays, no play action rollouts, no getting the pocket moving until like the middle of the second quarter. That, in all honesty, and Matt Nagy is a solid coach. He wouldn't be in the NFL if he wasn't an NFL caliber coach. But he needs to start calling plays like he is an NFL caliber coach. Get the pocket moving. Fields should not be standing back there like he's Tom Brady. Fields should not be getting the ball out in like 2 seconds. I get that, you don't want to hold the ball for too long, but you're calling these plays that take forever to develop. It's like this. There was about 4 plays. Basically, Matt Nagy was running the same 4 plays over and over again. There was one play, I was sitting on the couch just watching it. They ran like a little hitch route with Cole Kmet, and it was incomplete. The next play, I think it was like 3rd and 6. They ran the same play, but this time it was with Darnell Mooney. All those plays, there has to be more creativity within the offense, especially with Justin Fields, if you want him to develop. Justin is talented. And what I said in the video is that you need to use that talent correctly, or it's not going to work. The Bears did not use it correctly yesterday. I think the bottom line for coaching is I don't even know. It's an F- for me, honestly. And that's solely because the offense only mustered 1 passing yard and 47 total yards on offense. Regardless of if you like Matt Nagy or not, that's unacceptable. I was one of Nagy's biggest fans a couple years ago, but now I'm starting to have doubts about his ability to call plays for this offense. It's your 4th year and the offense is still dead last in passing and in yards. Look, I'm not advocating for anybody to lose their job, but the Bears have a game. I think they're coming back to Soldier Field next Sunday to play the Lions. I will do a prediction video on Wednesday. If they lose to the Lions, like they lost to the Browns, we could see some heads rolling. You might see some changes, some major changes in that organization. I'm just going to say this. If they're going to do it, if they're going to make a change at head coach or play calling, they better do it now. Because you don't want to wait too late and then ruin the talent you have at quarterback. Look, and honorable mention before I go, because this is a very long video. Justin Fields, this is none of Justin Fields' fault of how he played yesterday. He only ran the plays that the coach called for him, and that's going for basically all the offense. They ran the plays that the head coach and the coordinator called for them. You do not have the talent, at least that type of talent, to run just a purely pocket passing scheme. That team's not built for it. This team is built for running the ball. This team is built for playing off play action and sending receivers downfield more than 10 yards. That's what this offense is built for. And this defense for the Bears is built to play with the lead. This defense is not built to play from behind. They held the Browns for 3-4 quarters. 2 halves. They held them for 2 halves. But after a while, they started to get tired and they couldn't keep up the same production because the offense was not scoring points. Another thing is, before I end this video, there was a play I was watching where we were inside the 5. And I'm just being honest. We're inside the 5. You're losing by like what? What were they losing by at that point? They were losing by what? A touchdown and a field goal. I think the game was 13-3 if I'm not mistaken. At that point, it's 4th and 2. 4th and 5, whatever. It was a 4th down inside the 5, mind you. And you decide to kick a field goal. Who does that inside the 5 when you're losing? And you know what? When you don't decide to go for it there, I think that was the end of the game right there. When they did not go for that 4th down, that was the end of the game right there. If they would have went for that on 4th down, that even if they didn't get it, that would at least inspire your team to say, "Hey, we tried. We're trying to win this game. We're trying to get some points on the board." That would inspire your defense too to go out there and play hard. Because after that, I felt the defense didn't go out there with, full motivation. Because it sucks the life out of you when you don't go for it in a situation like that. So, play calling was especially bad. Coaching was especially bad, at least on offense. I did like how Sean Desai called his game. But Matt Nagy, you gotta fix that, man. Look, you're only getting criticized because we want to see you do well. We know you're better than this. We know that. They wouldn't have hired you if they didn't know you were better than this. But 47 yards total offense, that's unacceptable. So, bottom line, they lost, they lost 26-6. It was an abysmal game, to say the least. But you got to move on with the season, and things have to change before you play the Lions. The Lions are going to be looking for a win. They barely lost yesterday. One more thing. Justin Tucker's 66-yard field goal. Yes, you heard that right. 66-yard field goal had more yards in the air than the whole entire Bears offense. That's how bad the Bears were yesterday. And I don't blame it on the offensive line. I don't blame it on Justin Fields, because it all starts with play calling and your coach. It's the coach's job to get you prepared to play the game. It's the coach's job, and especially if you're the offensive coordinator, the guy calling the plays, to call plays suited to your offense. So, bottom line is, they have to win this game against the Lions next week, or you could be seeing a lot of changes in that, not only the locker room, but in this organization. Because the fans aren't happy. Honestly, I was not happy yesterday. I'm keeping a positive outlook on things. I'm thinking things are going to get better, but I'm going to have to see it first. All this talent on offense and 47 yards. That's unacceptable. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you like the video. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on social media. I will be tweeting out stuff for the next game. And, I'm out. Peace.